Okay.
Hello and welcome to this live and welcome to Conscious Leaders in Business. Actually, this is let's call this a comeback for
Mhm.
Conscious Leaders in Business, which I started earlier in the year. So, welcome. Conscious Leaders in Business is a co-creation and a collaborative space, and this is a platform for experts and in various niches, in various businesses, to come together to share their value together and as well as with our audiences. I'm your host, Hannah Cremona, a business strategist and mindset coach, helping you leverage your existing assets to create more profit and impact in your business. My intention here is to really share knowledge, inspire, activate leaders and entrepreneurs into doing business more consciously, and not something that you just tick a box with, but to really embody it deep within your organization, deep within your leadership, deep within your actions, so that change is happening within every organization and its people, whether you're a one-man show or lead thousands of people around the world. Today we have Radiance Thompson. Radiance and I have been connected for a few years now, on and off. We met through Facebook, I guess,
Yes.
networking through the Vine, and we've witnessed each other both professionally and through our personal journeys. Radiance, welcome, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me here, Hannah. And so, what I do is I help leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals own their gifts and harness their potential so they can, build a life that feels good to live, create a legacy, and do that all without self-sacrifice and self-sabotage. So I help them focus on their healing journey, regulating their nervous system. I use energetics, and I also use my science, knowledge of science and spirituality to help them on their path.
Oh, that's really amazing. So Radiance, quick question before we dive into the topic today of nervous system regulation. So, today we're actually going to talk about how to regulate your nervous system so that we can have more business growth, be able to hold the the flip side, right, of growth and
Right.
success. But very quickly, I'm interested for our audience. Can you tell us what got you into this work of serving
Mhm.
others to their highest capacity and really help them um, live in their purpose?
Yes. So a few years ago in 2018, I actually had extremely, extremely bad anxiety, depression, low self worth, low self confidence. I mean, I wouldn't be able to have this conversation with you had I not gone through a healing journey. And, I'm still a work in progress. I'm definitely not perfect. However, because of me taking the time to focus on my personal development, to focus on Reiki healing, to focus on just becoming the best version of myself each and every day. I've been able to change my life slowly but surely, but it's happening. And that's what really got me on this path. So I'm saying that to say I'm here because I took the time to create a life that feels aligned for me and, connect to source, connect to God, connect to universe, whatever you want to call it, and just become the best version of me for myself and my kids. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, it really happened. No, sweetheart. No. No, no, no. 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 You need to wait. You need to wait. Thank you. It really happened serendipitously. Like, it wasn't something that I had planned. It wasn't something that I had tried to, like, I saw 5 years ago. But it's just, me following my intuition and me following like my path, and things have just unraveled slowly but surely. I need you to stop. Just leave it right there, please. Just leave it right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes. Well, guys, this is the reality of of living and walking our talk, right? Hello.
amen.
Brilliant. Um, so there are things that you said And thank you for sharing that journey, because I also wouldn't be here really if I hadn't gone through my own personal journey,
Yeah.
and healing, not only professionally. But there's something you said about slowly and surely, and there's something else you said that I'm a work in progress too, right? It's a continued work that we do this, and I think for many high achievers, for many ambitious leaders, for many entrepreneurs, go getters, action takers, big
Right.
visionary people, right? We have
Mhm.
big goals, we have big actions, we're very passionate, we're very driven, we're very committed to that bigger picture and that
Right.
bigger mission that we want to do. That the reality of that, the flip
Right.
side of that, is that it can be extremely frustrating. It can be very sort of roller coaster type
Yeah.
energy, where we're experiencing cycles, repeated cycles of burnout, repeated cycles of this feast and fathom sort of
Yes.
thing that we go through. And really the desire here is to have this thing that doesn't exist, right? This straight upward
Oh,
line of growth
oh, that
and
would be beautiful, right? A linear path.
yeah, doesn't exist. However,
Right.
we do want to somehow not have those massive ups and downs, right? We do want to
Mhm.
somehow um, move along this part more smoothly,
Mhm.
right? So not
Mhm.
having this lockdown, this fall down,
Right.
which for me has been displayed as self-sabotaging behaviors,
Mhm.
or self-doubt, where you have that little bit of success and you go, oh, but this is too good to be true, or oh, that was just a lucky fluke, and
Right.
whether that be like progress in your business, whether that could be a new client that you've been sort of wanting to work with, or a new
Mhm.
financial goal, or this massive project that you've been working towards, or pitching, or moving to, whatever that goal may be. And so we came to this topic because we often feel like our desires are there, and we're working towards them, and we have the abilities and the knowledge and the skills to reach them, to do them, to fulfill them. And yet our nervous system doesn't catch up with that. And so either we never really get there, or we
Mhm.
get that thing, but we collapse. We have
Mhm.
another
Mhm.
episode of burnout.
Right.
So Radiance, what would you do in this case? Like what is it that you bring into this?
Mhm. Hmm. So you said a few things that like caught my attention, and I want to address first like how we often think we're supposed to go on this linear pathway, but yet it's more like a hills and troughs type of wavelength type of uh, path that we go on. Well, really, when you go on the hill, yes, it's an uphill battle, but then you go downward, and those are the times where you're supposed to receive information that you need in order for you to go back into the incline. So those rests are actually needed. Those repeated cycles of rest and then upward movement. Those ones are actually part of our natural pathway. So, and also, if you really think about it, if you're going on a linear pathway for too long, how fast are you going? Are you really going when instead, if you're going down, you start to build acceleration as you go upward. So if you really think about it, when you go downward and you have that deceleration, yes, of course, it sometimes we don't like to get into into the rest. Sometimes we tell ourselves that we shouldn't rest, and we kind of beat ourselves up for that. However,
Yeah.
when we go back upward, we have that acceleration again. We have that speed. We have that momentum to go back upward. So it's really necessary and part of our path to have those downward and upward cycles. And that being said, too, when we have moments of burnout, and we're having those times where we're feeling unregulated, or perhaps when we're feeling like, okay, we had this really amazing launch and we did really well and we had clients, and how do we do this? And then we think, okay, well, can I repeat this? And we may not have already calibrated to that frequency of this is my norm, this is something that I can do over and over again. We may think, oh, okay, this was a fluke. So this is your brain trying to keep you safe from that ascension, because we're not being able, in that moment, you're not able to recognize your growth as familiar to you. It's something that you may think is scary. So this is when your part of your brain called the amygdala may be afraid and have that fear of success that causes it to go right back down to recreate the reality that it came from, because it is that familiar reality. So what does that mean? Your amygdala, that's the part of your brain that recognizes fear. So it'll start looking at this new reality of you having clients that are looking to you as an authority. It's looking at your bank account and it never had those numbers. Can you handle it? Can you keep it this way? Can you recreate it? Are you really an authority? Are you an imposter? Like, those types of thoughts start to percolate in your brain. So what does your brain start to do? It starts to say, okay, well, can I overcome this? And if you can't overcome it, and if you start to think, okay, can I overcome this? Really, what your brain is saying, can I fight this from happening? Because anytime you're trying to overpower something, you're trying to overcome and overpower a situation. So you're activating your fight response in your brain, and your nervous system is trying to now screw you over by fighting yourself from doing this. So now you're in an inward battle and tug of war with yourself. Now you're telling yourself that growth maybe not is available to you. Maybe um, you're starting to tell yourself that growth is the enemy, that money is the enemy, that being authority is the enemy, the coaching industry is the enemy. It becomes like a hero versus villain type of dynamic, where you're the hero and the growth and ascension path is the villain, and you're trying to fight something. So now you've activated your fight response in your nervous system. And what does that mean? That means you're going to make that thing the enemy. You're going to fight it from happening, and you may even cause yourself to descend and, unfortunately, not recreate your results. Or you might go into flight response. So if you're in your flight response, then you're saying, okay, how can I escape from having to grow? How can I not have to do these activities? How can I not have to participate in whatever growth is required of you? Maybe it means hiring a higher level mentor to now match this frequency of growth that you've created for yourself. Maybe it means for you having to go to those seminars, having to show up on coaching calls. How can I escape having to take responsibility for this path that I'm on now? That now you're activating your flight response. And what happens when you activate your flight response? You start to distract yourself with Netflix and Bridgerton and Love is Blind, all great shows, but you're trying to escape from doing the thing that that your soul is calling you to do, but perhaps your nervous system hasn't calibrated to doing those levels of activities. So it's really important that we understand how our nervous system plays a part in how we identify who we are, because your nervous system has a key role in how you in your identity. And often you hear a lot in the coaches industry about embodying the new identity of the thing that you're trying to create, or whatever you're trying to accomplish, or the goal you're trying to achieve. And really, it's you just becoming, first of all, it's shedding the identity of who you think you are versus what your soul is calling you to be. All of that subconscious programming that's caused you to shell and to hide parts of yourself. Really, it's shedding all of those layers, number one. And number two, you have to give your nervous system time to calibrate to different levels of activities. It's almost like when people talk about quantum leaping, and it's like, do you realize what that would do to your nervous system? Like, it would be like me being, I'm an entrepreneur. Am I a 7-figure entrepreneur? No, not yet. So if someone were to say, okay, now you're a 7-figure entrepreneur tomorrow, would I have the systems together? Would I have all of the all of the deliverables together? Would I have the team that would be able to help me and serve at that capacity? No. So the same thing happens with your nervous system. If you give it too much to do at once, it will find ways to go back to its familiar known. So all of that to say is give your nervous system time to calibrate to new levels of activities. Ask yourself, am I trying to escape doing what I know that I'm supposed to do in this moment? Or am I making growth? Am I making my business the enemy? Am I making the clients the enemy? Am I making uh, the overall ascension journey the enemy? Am I trying to fight it? Am I trying to fight myself? Asking yourself those questions can really help you understand where you are on the fight or flight. On the fight or flight, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Spectrum.
Spectrum. Yeah, you saw my, you knew what I was saying. Where you are on the fight or flight spectrum, and then you can start saying, okay, what am I identifying with that is no longer part of my journey, or what do I need to disidentify with because
Hmm.
it can no longer be on my journey.
That's amazing. Radiance, I just want to capture a few things and reiterate what you said in different words, just for the sake of our audience, perhaps, because very valid points came out. Number one, it's that period of rest or that period of downtime that we simply just judge. We judge the fuck out of it, excuse my
Yeah,
language, but that's
we do.
exactly what is happening. So we're
Mhm.
judging that downtime where it's a beautiful moment to
Right.
receive the insights from that action, from that momentum
Yeah.
that we've been building. But because things have gone quiet for a moment, we start freaking out. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, nothing is working. It's not working anymore. Oh my God, clients are leaving me. Oh my God, there's no one in my
Yeah.
audience. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like sales aren't coming in anymore. And I'm
Mhm.
whatever situation you can think of. And so what if we just change the story of what this downtime is and
Mhm.
really utilize that time to collect those insights and to reflect on point number two you mentioned, to strategically reverse engineer that
Mhm.
process of success that you've just experienced so that it can be a repeatable process, so that you
Mhm.
can set up a framework, systems and processes that are repeatable in your business, because this is what's going to give you the continued success, this is what's going to give you the continued growth, this is what's going to help you automate and receive that passive income that everyone is, like so obsessed about. We want to go there, but hey, are we ready to do that work? And are we ready to do that, go through those ebbs and flows? Are we ready to go down?
Right.
Are we ready to hold ourselves in the down without judging the heck out of everything
Right.
and really
Right.
embracing that period? Because
Mhm.
that is the flow, right? That is part of the journey.
Mhm.
And okay, now the next thing that came up for me was really helping yourself understand, like, having this goal, having this financial goal, for example, right? We talk a lot about financial goals. We talk about, how you're reaching seven figures or having
Mhm.
50 months, 100K months, whatever it is that you're on your next level with. Um, does it feel safe?
Right.
Does it feel safe to go
Mhm.
there? Does it feel safe to receive that money? Does it feel safe to receive those type of clients? Does it feel safe for me to deliver this program? And so sometimes our mind will go, well, of course it feels safe, but when you really tune in and you really rate that, I often find that my clients rate it very low on the scale, and that's always
Mm.
a very surprising one. He's
Yeah.
like, of course I want more money. Of course I want more money in my business. Of course I want to make more sales. Of course I want to have more clients, because that means more impact. That means I serve more people. But when we really tune in and ask ourselves from a 1 to 10, how safe does this feel?
Mhm.
Um, a lot of people surprisingly rate that very low. And so
Right.
asking yourself, how safe does this feel, will then go into that, what you were talking about becoming that person, right?
Mhm.
Becoming the person who does the things to have the things, to have the results, becoming the person, the character, the personality, the behavior, the actions that a seven-figure business owner does to actually start to see the results. And but before getting there, we need to break down and peel back the identities and the belief systems that no longer serve us.
Right. 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 Thank you for putting what I said in like those terms. I appreciate that. Um, there was one thing that I was going to say, but I got slightly distracted by my daughter. Um, hold on, it'll come to me.
I
The
need to
money
remember.
part and the safe part. Yes. That can come. So not being safe in money, but yet wanting money, we like that. It's a polarity that we have to, or an imbalance that we have to start to understand where it comes from. We have to start to dig a little bit deeper. Perhaps you saw people in your family who had a lot of money, yet they didn't use it for the right reasons. Or perhaps it wasn't used to help other people. Maybe it was just used to show people how much money they had. And now you have this belief system that money is bad, money is evil. People worship money. People make money their God instead of money a resource, money a tool, money that can be used to help more people. So being able to understand where we get what our relationship is with money, how safe we are feeling by being able to handle and hold the frequency of money or the energy of money or the feeling of money, and knowing that money is not only a tool but also a great power that you can use to move mountains in your business, for your family, for your career, for your clients. It can move mountains. I mean, if you really think about it, and I know this kind of like is unfortunate. However, people like P. Diddy wouldn't be who they are if they didn't have the money and the resources to stay out of jail. Like, it's just the truth. So people like him, unfortunately, perhaps didn't use the money for the best reasons. However, there are people that use money to really make an impact. We have people like Bono who have done amazing things with money. We have great people that we can look to as examples of what to do when you hold the frequency of money and when you feel safe using money to help more people. So being able to know what our story is about money, how that identity and how that story is affecting our nervous system and our ability to feel safe holding money and be able to acquire money are very important things that we need to start asking ourselves when we are on that growth and ascension journey of acquiring more resources like money through our businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, Radiance. I think our audience know this. Like we know this on a mental level. But having said that, are we super aware of the stories that are going on in our subconscious? Because I think this is the critical work. For me, this really is the work that
Mhm.
a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs sort of tend to overlook because we know things logically,
Right.
but that's not really
Mhm.
changing the belief systems that are wired in our brain. And
Right.
for us to really start aligning ourselves, for us to start really fully being in alignment and fully being that business owner, that CEO, that leader, that expert in the field who's ready to also grow, to serve, to create that impact, and to do the amazing things that they can do with that success and with the team that they build and all of that stuff. We really need to start doing that inner work, the stuff in the
Right.
back that people don't see.
Right, right. And it's just amazing because we will consciously have these conversations, and we will consciously tell ourselves that we can hold money and that we can be successful and that we can do the work. Yet if our emotional brain, if our amygdala, if our subconscious work, if it's taking over, it will absolutely tell our rational brains to shut up, because our emotions are taking over and making more emotional based decisions. So when we do the subconscious work, when we do the inner work, and when we start to really be more aware of how our emotions are making us have certain decisions that aren't really serving us, not saying that our emotions aren't tools, they're absolutely tools, and our emotions deserve to be heard, but you have to give your emotions a platform to exist too. And often we've done such a good job at repressing our emotions, at bottling things up, or unfortunately, sometimes, and I admit to this, sometimes having an explosion of emotions that we just make irrational decisions that often don't serve us in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm hearing, I just want to like wrap this up because obviously this is also a big topic that can go in so many
Yes.
directions. Um. So coming back to being able to handle that growth without burning out, without experiencing those cycles
Right.
of burnout, those cycles of like falling down and like having to like completely, like
Mhm.
detach because it's
Right.
just too much to handle without going into that flight and freeze response, right? That you were explaining to us. Um, what I am hearing from both our expertise coming together is, first of all, no, please interrupt me and give your input. But what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, because this work really goes well together, is at first looking at a very strategic perspective on the real possibilities without the limiting stories. Sorry, the limiting
Okay.
and inverting commas excuses that we add into the mix of why we can't grow or what our brain is telling us, right? What our subconscious is telling us. So from a
Right.
strategic perspective, to really like break down and reverse engineer, so that we can build the processes
Mhm.
and systems to repeat. And the second part is really going into the belief systems and awareness, really doing that subconscious work that we were just talking about right now, to rewire our belief systems at a subconscious level.
Yeah.
And the third thing that you also mentioned is then the emotional work, because I believe that this is also stored, our body remembers.
Yes, absolutely.
Our body remembers. And so if we're going into again another situation where we're about to experience this quantum leap, we're about to experience huge success, this is where again the body can freak out
Right.
unless unless we have the tools to not
Yes.
have that happen, right?
Right. 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 Yes, absolutely. And I'm 100% on board with you with everything that you mentioned. And also, just making sure that we give ourselves grace in our ascension and growth journey too, because it sounds like I feel like we're a little bit of kindred spirits where we might beat ourselves up, unfortunately, when we're not um, going as fast as we like, or we're not where we want to be yet. And I get that. I tell myself, sometimes, Ray, I wish you had gone on this journey 5 years ago. However, it's okay. You've heard this before, you'll hear it again, you'll keep hearing it. You are where you're supposed to be, and it will continue to be an unraveling of where you're supposed to be next. And just allow yourself to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for saying that, because that's that's really important. I think for someone like me, for those of us who are the high achievers and
Mhm.
recovering perfectionists, I may say, right? We tend to judge a lot.
Yeah.
We judge. We have a resistance on something. We even judge the resistance. We have a dip. It's a beautiful period of collecting insight and reflecting. We judge that as well.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be further on. We're supposed to be having more success, or we're supposed to be whatever. And so giving yourself grace and really being able to sit down and look
Mhm.
at the progress, because that is such a pivotal actually part
Right.
of growth. Being able to look at your progress and do that whole process that we just explained, right? Reverse
Right.
engineering that. And so how can I repeat that same success versus forever chasing and not developing the systems and the processes that can be, delegated, automated,
Right.
scaled in the
Right.
business.
Right. Well,
I
thank
think
you all.
we can
Yeah.
wrap, I think we can wrap that up over there. Um, Radiance, how can people get in touch with you if they would like to discover more of your work, or they would like to inquire on how you can help them regulate their nervous system for more growth?
Yes, yes. So I will be posting my link. We can have a discovery call, and yeah, just post your. No, I'll post my link there. Go ahead and click on the link to have your discovery call with me. And for the first, call that you make with me, 30 minutes, we'll just go over like how you've been holding yourself back and where you want to go, and how you can see me helping you get there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Take that opportunity, guys. If this is something that you've been on the fence for a while. I think this is now time. If any of you are here practicing the law of manifestation and the law of attraction, Radiance is coming to you. So receive her. And for those of you who are doers, the high achievers, the ones who are here to create positive impact without burning out, without doing all the BS stuff, without wasting time, and you're probably here and you're done sort of consuming courses, and it's really time to implement. It's time to have guided support to implement your customized and personalized strategy for your business in a way that remains very authentic and in integrity with who you are and your values, and to really have a strategy that is scalable, repeatable, that you can eventually automate and hand over to your team. Then this is the work that we can do together, where you also receive personalized leadership coaching. Get in touch with me. I'm just going to drop the link right now. We can have a discovery call, basically just figure out where you are, where you want to go, and what is the process of getting there. What does that look like? Okay, so there's no obligation at all. It would be a great opportunity to get to know each other and get to know your business, and yeah, look forward to the future. So
Beautiful.
if you have any questions, guys, put them in the chat. Radiance and I will get back to them, and until next time, have a
Yes.
good
Yes. Thank you all for listening. And we will see you tomorrow morning or good night where you are. Good morning. Bye.